In this video, I am going to share with you how I made my first 10k online step by step. That way, you can literally just copy me. But since it's probably the first time you and I meet, why should you listen to me? My name is Fred, and I went from struggling financially over 5 years ago, growing up in the lower middle class, to building a profitable consulting business that makes me upwards of $1,000 per day in profit in my early 20s. The first step is to become crystal clear on what you want. Like, really take the time to ask yourself, how much money do you want to make per year and per month? What would your ideal life look like? What would an ideal day or week in your life be like? What activities would you do? What hobbies would you have? How would you think? How would you view the world? What would you spend your money on? Because a lot of people, they set the goal of making $10,000 per month, but they don't even really know what's behind it. If you just set the goal of making 10k per month, okay, it's great, it's amazing, at least you have a goal. Most people don't even have clear goals, they have wishes. Instead, they just say, oh, I want to make more money, but that is not a goal, and wishes do not come true. Goals do with hard work and with persistence. But at the same time, $10,000 on its own, it's plain, it's boring, because it's just a number, it's just digits on a screen. So that's not motivating, that's not inspiring. So instead, we need to delve deeper and figure out what's behind it. Why do you want to make $10,000 per month? What would it allow you to do? How would your life be different? I speak to lots of people on a weekly basis, and I've spoken to hundreds of ambitious people who want to build a profitable online business by now. And a lot of people, they do know what they want, but there's also a lot of people who never even really took the time to think about it, to be clear on exactly what they want out of life. Because your time is very limited on this earth. So if you don't have a plan, you don't have specific goals, you will most likely end up becoming a part of somebody else's plan. And I know that when you go look on social media, it looks like you need to be making 8 figures per year to be living an amazing life. But when you do make 8 figures per year, let me tell you, the amount of responsibilities on your shoulders is insane. So that kind of level of success and of achievement, it's really not made for everyone. If you want to live a nice, comfortable life, 10-20k per month is incredible. But when you start to go beyond 50 to 100k per month, you start to have more responsibilities, and not everyone is meant to handle those. So I really invite you to literally just take some time in your free time to just do some research and figure out where would you like to live, what kind of place would you like to be in, or maybe you want to travel. How much money would you need to spend per month in order to live this incredible life that you're dreaming of? Because when you're crystal clear on how much you would need exactly, now making more money, it's not just about hitting a specific number, but it becomes about living the life that you've always dreamed of, which is incredibly powerful. Because at the end of the day, money is simply a tool we use to literally exchange value. So that's why you need to know exactly what you want, but also why you want it. What's the powerful emotional driver behind your actions? Because I can tell you for a fact that the days you won't be motivated to get to work, you're only going to force yourself to do the work if you have a strong reason why you do it. At the time I'm recording this video, I wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning, and I work pretty much all day until dinner, so 7 p.m. So the only time I have a break, it's for my lunch break or when I go to the gym, but that's pretty much it. And 5 years ago, that would have been impossible for me to be that disciplined and to follow such a strict schedule, because back then I lacked clarity. I didn't have a proven step-by-step process to follow to make my dreams happen, but nowadays I do. And I also help my customers to build a profitable business by following the same proven step-by-step process that makes me upwards of $1,000 per day. And when you have a proven step-by-step process, becoming disciplined, getting out of bed at 5 a.m., it becomes easy because you know exactly what you need to do and you know exactly why you do it, which is even more important, because human beings will only ever do the work that they need to do as long as they have a strong enough reason why they do it. To give you an example, back when I was still in school, I would almost never do my homework because I knew I would not go to university. So I knew my grades didn't matter because I would build a profitable business. I could always feel it, and I always knew from a very young age that the internet was where the real riches were hidden. So now that you know what you want and why you want it, you need to figure out who you need to become in order to get what you want. Now you may wonder, okay, that's great, but none of that is a business tactic. I'm gonna give you the best business tactics in the world, but what's gonna make you more money than any business tactic? It's all of this stuff that we're talking about. Because myself, I've been in training programs and coaching programs that gave me the best tactics in the world to build my profitable business. But I wasn't the only one in those training programs, and so I always wondered, how come some people fail and how come some people succeed? They've literally been given the same information. So how come it works for someone and not for someone else? And at first, I was just thinking, oh well, some people, they work harder, they just have more willpower, they're smarter, they're more talented, and that's why they succeed and that's why others don't. But that was lazy thinking on my part, because it's actually a lot more nuanced. And so what I found is that the reason why most people fail, it's not because they're not smart enough, it's not because they can't work hard, but rather it's because they let their fears and their doubts hold them back. Which is why, in order to get to the level I am today, to be able to make thousands of dollars just like that, I needed to evolve myself into a different version of myself. If you met me now and you met me 3 to 5 years ago, you would not believe you are actually talking to the same person. It's like, you know, when you look back at old pictures of yourself, old selfies, you kind of cringe a bit because you look strange or you look different, you don't like the way that you look anymore. Well, that's actually a good sign. It means you evolved. If you don't evolve, you you decay and die. Evolution is the most fundamental law of this universe. And so for me, I knew that in order to become successful, I had to learn to overcome all of my fears and to embrace resistance. Because back then, I was dealing with so much anxiety, I couldn't even leave the house to go for a walk in the neighborhood. I couldn't even pick up the phone to call my hairdresser and book an appointment. Because of plenty of traumatic shit that happened in my past, I was literally like paralyzed. I couldn't do anything. And so of course, when I wanted to build a profitable business, when came the time to reach out to potential customers, to make content, to start building a brand, well, of course I couldn't do it because I was scared. That's the truth. And so for 7 months, I listened to my doubts, to my imaginary problems, and I procrastinated working on my business. So one day, I was sick and tired of being broke, of being in the middle class, like the lower middle class especially, and I was sick and tired of hearing about other people being successful and living their life, and me, I was stuck in my uncomfortable situation, too paralyzed to even start taking action. And so I realized that for me, my big blockage, it was fear. It wasn't anything real or tangible. So what I did is that I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen and I wrote down everything I was afraid to do. And then I forced myself to do one thing that scared me every single day until I became relentless, limitless, until I felt like nothing could stop me anymore. Because that's the catch. You will never stop feeling fear. But the thing that you really need to understand is that successful people do not have less fear than you. They just have more courage. And the worst part about being afraid to do something is that most of the time, what you imagine in your mind, it's much worse than the reality of just doing the thing that you're so afraid to do. Every time I faced one of my fears, nothing bad happened, but it was just my brain tricking me into staying in my comfort zone. But you do not grow in your comfort zone. You will not build a 10k per month business if you stay in your comfort zone. That simply won't happen. So it's either you want to stay in your comfort zone more than you want success, or you want success more than you want to listen to the excuses that are created by your brain because they're not real. Now the next step after that is to focus on selling services or coaching instead of physical products, because physical products come with extremely high costs. You need lots of money, $5,000 to $10,000, to be able to test your ads, so with no guarantee of actually making a profit. And on top of that, let's say you do manage to make $10,000 per month selling physical products, your profit margins are going to be extremely thin, 5 to 20% at most, meaning you would only keep $500 up to $2,000. So it's really not that much when initially you made a lot of money. But you would also have to deal with many issues, from with manufacturers, communication issues, issues with your software, issues with refunds, with lost orders, with shippings that are delayed, and so many other issues that really make it a headache. And if you spend most of your time trying to fix problems in your business instead of working on growing the business, on creating systems and processes and improving your products, you're wasting so much time that you cannot use to scale your business and to make more money. So if you're a veteran entrepreneur, you've already made millions and you want to start building a proper e-commerce brand, do it, it's incredible. But if you're a beginner, it's not where you should start. You should start by getting to 10k per month by selling services or coaching offers, because most of what you'll make, it will be profit that goes directly in your pocket. Because at the end of the day, what matters, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. If you make $1 million but you only keep $100,000, it's kind of pointless. I would much rather make $200,000 and keep $170,000 as opposed to making more but keeping less. Now if you want to discover exactly how I make upwards of $1,000 per day with my own consulting business step by step, I've recorded a free video in which that's exactly what I'm going to show you. And I'm also going to reveal the only 3 activities you need to focus on if you're serious about making money. I will leave the link in the description, or you can also directly apply to book a call with me or my team, and we'll see if we can help you to build your business. The next step after that is to pick a niche and to solve a painful problem for them. So what is a niche? A niche is simply a group of people with similar desires, interests, and pain points. So to give you an example, at first in 2022, I was helping business owners to book more meetings with their ideal customers. That way, they could grow their revenue. And nowadays what I do is that I help ambitious individuals so they can become financially free, quit their 9-to-5s, and do what they want. Enjoy life. So as you can see, I solve pretty painful problems for people. And when you solve painful problems for people, you can command a high ticket price. Because remember, money is a tool we use to exchange value. So the higher the price tag of an item, the more value the customer expects to receive in exchange. Now the step after that, when you have your niche and your offer, is to make targeted content to attract your ideal customers to you. You have to realize that for businesses, content is literally free advertising. It always made me laugh at first when I saw Alex Hormozy with his banner saying, "I have nothing to sell you," because I knew for a fact he's a businessman, he has something to sell you. In fact, I have something to sell you. Everybody has something to sell you. And people who are not honest about it, fine, it's their choice. But people who don't like to be sold, it's understandable. But at the same time, if you're afraid of sales or you don't like sales, how can you expect to become wealthy? It makes no sense, because you have that internal blockage. I make YouTube videos to grow my business. I'm honest about it. And I also get to help plenty of people, which is amazing, but that wasn't the main reason, I'll be honest with you. And making content also allows us to have insanely high profit margins, because we get to attract our ideal customers for completely free without having to spend a single dime on paid advertising. And with this method alone, you can scale to hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Now, we don't just want to wait passively for people to come to us when we make content. The best method you can use is to leverage content to attract your ideal customers to you, and also an appointment setting method. That way, when people drop you a follow, a like, or a comment, you reach out to them, and then you start a genuine conversation where you ask people some questions to see if you could help them and to see if they could benefit from what you have to offer. And if they can, if you see that they're qualified, you want to invite them to book a call with you so you can have a more in-depth conversation and really see if you can actually help them. And if you can, at the end of the call, you want to make them an offer. Me personally, I only make an offer to people I know I can help, because there's no use in like onboarding someone, making some money quickly, but they won't even benefit from what you have to offer. Now, the step that comes after that is the call. So just like I said, the purpose of the call is to ask your prospects some questions to start building a relationship and to see whether or not you can actually help them. It's literally just a simple conversation. Now, we follow a certain framework, which some people call a sales script. That way, we make sure that we stay on topic. Like at the end of the day, we're not just gonna talk an hour talking about golf or football, you know? We need to focus on like the main topic at hand. So there's typically three main parts to the call. Discovery, you ask your prospect questions, the pitch, and then if they're qualified for your offer, you can tell them the price, and they will decide whether or not they want to move forward. So the step that comes after that is service delivery. So if you sell services, you're typically going to do the work for the client or leverage remote contractors to do the work for your clients without having to do it yourself. That way, it allows you to get started with a consulting business and to still be able to provide any service even if you don't know how to do it yourself. I know people who make 7 figures per year. They're not the ones doing the services for the clients. They hire other people to do it for them. But the benefit of this method is that you get paid first by the client, and only then do you go ahead and hire a contractor. So you never spend money out of pocket. And finally, the other way that you can give your customers what they want, it's my favorite, it's coaching directly. Because to give you an example, if you sell a fitness coaching offer, which some of my students are selling, you can't do it for someone. You cannot lose the weight for somebody. You have to show them how it's done. And when you sell a coaching offer, you can make a living teaching something that you love, which is incredible. We've never had such incredible opportunities in the entire history of mankind. Now look, it's time for you to make a choice. You can keep watching YouTube videos, but doing this will not make you more money. But if you are part of that minority of ambitious individuals and you're committed to building your business so you can become financially free, I invite you to check out the free resources in the description below, or you can also directly apply to book a call with either me or my team directly, and we'll see if we can help you to build your business. With that being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together, let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower more ambitious individuals to become financially free. And as a thank you, when we get to 100,000 subs, I will be giving away $10,000.